Hey everybody, welcome back to episode 2. I guess it'd be welcome to episode 2. But welcome back either way. So I got everything kind of laid out the way I'm going to build this freight station. I was originally going to do it in a different way, the way that Tony Custer did it in his magazine article and on his Allegheny Midland layout, which was essentially like this. It would increase the footprint by roughly 4 or 5 inches, but for some reason I just decided to go a different route. So I'm gonna have to change the name of the video series because, you know, I'm not gonna make it exactly like the Coal Fork Run Freight House, Coal Fork Run Junction Freight House. Say that real fast 5 times. So I'm gonna go ahead and just rename it. Probably going to be the Industrial Beltline Freight House or something like that. But I really like the look of having the 2-story section on one end and the long, I guess maybe the distribution section, the shipping section on the other end. Now this side here is the side that is away from the railroad tracks, and this is the side that is towards the railroad tracks. There are 2 large doors here and then 4 small doors here, and I think I'd rather have the larger doors on this side, like maybe a couple of them. There's a larger door on the end, and I think that one and these 2 may get gone. I have some other doors someplace that might look better on this side. They're steel, they got some rivets and stuff into them, and I think it might look a little bit better. So I'm gonna start working on that. But what we're gonna talk about here is some of this stuff might be basic for the advanced modeler. For the newer modeler, this might be some good information for you. But I always use these little nippers that I picked up at, I think I got these at Michael's craft store and hobbies. It's kind of like a Hobby Lobby. I don't know if they're nationwide or just out here on the East Coast or what, but you can get these at Hobby Lobby also. And I mentioned Hobby Lobby quite a bit because my wife does a lot of crafts, and while she's in there, I'm usually running around doing my thing as well. And I go and I get my paints there. They got all the Vallejos and a lot of like paint kits, like a rust kit, and they got the military kits and stuff like that. And they're pretty cool. But these little nippers, I think I paid maybe $5 for these, and they work great. The exact same thing on like from Micro Mark or something like that. They're like 15, 16 bucks. I mean, I'm trying to save a couple of dollars, not, you know, give somebody all my money. But so what you're going to do with these, and this is pretty basic stuff, but just in case you don't know, there's a flat side and an angle side. You always want the flat side up against the piece of plastic that you want to keep and look nice. Yeah, that's the easiest way to put it. So I mean, away from the sprue, I guess would be another way to put it. And just clip it. It's pretty simple. And clip it again. And it makes a nice edge. There's still a little bit of sanding that needs to be done, but it's not too bad. And since there's sanding to be done, I just so happen to have some here. So this is probably 220. And I got some 600 back here. And if you don't know anything about sandpaper, the higher the number, the finer the grain. So the lower the number, the rougher it is. And every single piece of the model that I cut off from the sprue, I'm going to run across the sandpaper. So this is the side we just cut, but there's just a little bit of flashing from the, like, I don't know, from where the plastic was in the mold. And I'll go ahead and I'll sand that off. What I gotta do is just run it across something hard, flat. And that's pretty good right there. But I can still see it, so I'm gonna do it again. Now, if you're fitting your pieces together, you want to take your time and test fit every couple of strokes across the sandpaper, because it is possible to take off too much and mess everything up. Also, you need to be mindful of the angles on the side. Like, these are all 90-degree angles, but this one here is you know, maybe a 30 or something. So you kind of need to angle it so the part and the sandpaper match. And just take off just a little bit there. Now, I'm not going to be using these wood shingle roofs, but just wanted to demonstrate how that was done. Now, what am I going to use for the roof if I'm not going to use those? Well, I'm probably going to find some styrene and cut them so that the roof pieces are one piece. I think that'd be easier to deal with, easier to glue, and I think it would look better overall. For roofing material, I'm going to use what's going to look like tar paper. So I don't think I'm going to use any of these, but I'm not quite sure. But these, you know, this is like a metal roofing material, and the other roof was just shingles. Now I have some shingle material from JTT. I don't know if you can really see that. It's still new in the plastic, but it's just shingles, and it's a little bit different than these. These are like cedar shingles, and I'm not sure what these are supposed to be, but they look wood to me as well. But not going to be using those. I thought these might work out, give it a neat look, but at the same time, I'm not really wanting to do that. Something else I'm going to do differently than what Tony did on his coal fork run junction freight station is I'm going to abandon the wooden raised deck foundation, and I'm going to go with concrete. And how I'm going to do that is with this right here, and this is concrete backer board. And if you're doing any type of tile work in your house, you're going to have a lot of this on hand. And it just so happens, by coincidence, we have a lot of tile going into our kitchen. So I have excess of this stuff, and I've kept, excuse me, I've kept some scrap pieces around, and I actually brought some scrap pieces into the house and put them in the training room because I thought they might work out good for culverts and stuff like that. I could drill holes in them, and you know, it's concrete, but yet it's still pretty easy to work with. So what I'm gonna do is I have a circular saw that has a concrete blade on there, and basically I'm just gonna cut it. Just cut it like you would a piece of wood. I'm gonna cut it here and here, and this is 5 inches by 20 inches, and that should give me quite a larger footprint than what the building is, because I want extra room for like boxes and crates and stuff like that, things that would come in a boxcar, so that way there's plenty of room on here. And I don't know when they first came out with a forklift, but I got a whole bag of detail parts, and a lot of it's, you know, LCL type, you know, boxes and stuff like that you would see come out of you know, box cars and whatnot. But it's got some forklifts in there, and I think I got 3 or 4 of them. I thought it looked cool, a bunch of working dudes and stuff like that. So I think that would be a really cool scene when I get it done. It's going to be a real busy place. The only problem with this backer board is it's not quite thick enough to match the height of a box car with the doors open or a flatbed trailer. So I looked around through my scrap pile, and I got some of this what they call a 1/4 inch by 1 inch. I think this might be 1/4 inch by 1.5 actually. And so what I'll do with this is I'll cut it down to 20 inches by 5 inches essentially, and make a frame that will go underneath of this cardboard, underneath this concrete. Goodness, I just woke up from a nap. This shouldn't be happening. But and it will raise it up to the right level, and then I will glue it to the bottom and then shoot it all with I got this color called Fossil that I really like, and I think it looks like concrete. Even though this is concrete, it looks a little bit more brown, but I think when I weather it up, it'll all look pretty good. And I want to have a lot of you know, tire marks, and you know, I want the concrete deck, if you would, to look like it's had a lot of traffic on there. I also have a bunch of staircases that I can use that came with the kit. I mean, these are wood, but but I can make, you know, the steps, like the entry steps and stuff like that, and I can put them on the side. And it's about the right height. You can't even see that over there, but let me try it right here. And I'll just have these cut off, and I'll put some railings on there, and there's 3 of them on each one, so I should have plenty of steps and stuff that I can use. And I'll always keep this stuff here. I never throw anything away. I never really liked this anyway. Even when I was a kid, I was like, well, how come all the wood's going different directions, you know? And I think it would have been easier for them to, you know, if I was building this, I would have had all the decking going the exact same direction. It just don't look right to me. Even though this might be prototypical, it just, for some reason, it bugged me. And I always was irritated by there wasn't cross bracing. There was only like one brace that went from this corner to this corner, and I always thought they should be cross braced and it would look a lot better. And I just kind of thought that was, maybe that's just the way they cheaped out, I don't know. But one other reason that I went to a concrete foundation was because I want these doors to be open and I want stuff to be inside so you can look in there. The admin section here, the second floor, I will probably separate from the first and put a floor in there so that I can have some people standing in there, and maybe some lights and a few other things like that. I think it'll look pretty cool. So I think Dean's here, so let me hit pause and I'll be right back. Thank you. All right, it was like I walked away and came right back. All right, so I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to take your time, cut every single piece apart, and then take it and sand it, sand your edges down, and really think out what you're gonna do. You may have to write some notes. That's what I do. And I try different things, like, you know, fitting things together like this. But the one thing that I had in common between the way I'm gonna build this kit and the way Tony had built his kit was I had to separate these pieces. So basically all I did was take my straight edge and put it like, well, this is my square. It worked very well. Sat it up against this corner here. Made a little tick mark, and really there's a ridge from the, what's it called, batten sides or something. I don't know if you can see that. And all I had to do is go right down that. That's all I did. So I went right down that with a little hobby knife. Actually, it was on this side. And it came out perfectly. Ran that across the sandpaper a couple of times, and you can see it fits, you know, quite well together. And these corners are angled corners, so I got to be mindful when I go sanding on these not to mess them up. But the only other thing that I'm going to do in the next couple of days, besides trimming everything off the sprues and sanding, which I'll take a couple of days to do that because I don't just come out here for 2 or 3 hours and work on this stuff. I work on it maybe 10, 15 minutes here and there. And, you know, my wife had surgery the other day, so I'm running back and forth making sure she's okay. But the most important thing that I'm getting ready to do, and that is I'm changing the angles of the upper portion of the admin section. I'm going to make the angles match what was on the lower section, the working section, if you will. So basically all I'm doing is taking the end piece, I'm matching it up corner to corner and drawing a line with a marker. I mean, it's just that easy. And boom, it's like I had that sitting there. So what I'm also going to have to do is I'm going to use some extra pieces. I'm going to have to fill this in because I'm not going to have a window up there at all. It would probably be wise to put some sort of maybe like a vent or something up there, you know, like an attic vent. Not quite sure if I have anything like that laying around. I'll look for it before I fill it in though. But all I'm gonna do is use a piece of what's that little room that sticks out on the top, a little outcropping room or something like that. It's on the front of the box, and you know what I'm talking about. It's on the second story. It sticks out there, and I'm going to use that to just fill this in, just like that. And you know, it doesn't have to match perfectly, but you want it to look pretty decent at the same time and not be noticeable. And you can see right there how much is going to be filled in and how I'm going to have to cut a little bit. But you can do a lot of that stuff by sanding and not necessarily cutting, and just be mindful to line up your battens, I think that's what they're called, and all that. So I think that's gonna look pretty decent. There will be, of course, this one here, this is smaller on the bottom, or narrower on the bottom, because it's supposed to fit right here. And this goes on the inside, this part's on the outside here. One of these will stay the same, minus the cut here. The second one, I will sand this whole angled edge off, and it will be in the middle of the building right here for support, and because you kind of need some interior walls. Now, because it's going to be in the middle, and I was talking about doing an interior in there and a floor, I will probably cut out a door and put in a door. And I'll probably stick with the door that came with the kit, even though they're pretty, you know, kind of funky looking. They're kind of thick and they don't look that great, but it's going to be inside. You're not going to see it that well to begin with. I think it's going to look pretty good when I'm finished. I'm really excited about this, but I can't emphasize enough planning, and test fit and come up with different ideas that might work, might not work. And you'll find out some stuff. Like I had these windows here from the Tichy group, and these are, let's see, double window units, 59 inches wide by 64 inches high. And I thought that would look good right here on the end of the building. And I stick it up there, I'm like, hey, they don't look bad, but it's the exact width of the hole, you know, for the window. So if I put it in there just right, you may not be able to see any light on the ends. I may have to do a little bit of putty work or something like that. But you see, I have to cut the hole a little bit taller up here to fit the window. And I think it's going to be okay. But you know, sometimes you just don't know until you try something how it's going to look or how it's going to fit. So once again, the wise thing to do is to test it, make sure it's going to fit, and let's see. Let me find the window and you can compare the difference between the windows. And I believe this is the window that goes in here. Now, I can't remember what these little things in the middle is called, like mullions or something like that. But you can see the Tichy window looks so much better than the window that came with it. And I guess that's because back in the day, it's just a little bit more difficult to mold the plastic and get finer details out of it. Also on the end, this will be the administrative end. I think I'm going to remove this, I guess, cargo door, warehouse door, sliding farm door. And I'm going to put a regular door, like an entrance door, like to a business or something in there. This window here will be redone to, I don't know, maybe I put something like that up here because it kind of, I need something centered. My OCD says, why would you have an offset window like that? So I'm going to take care of that. My OCD says I must do that. So it'll probably be one of these, and I think it's going to look pretty cool. And that, of course, that one's going to be filled in. And I might even do, I actually thought about putting in a door here and a staircase coming down. And I think that'd be kind of steep coming up, but we'll see. We'll see what I can come up with. Now, I'm going to give you some dimensions, and I'm going to cut this off because it's probably about almost 20 minutes. And that's a lot of information to process. And then I'm going to get to work and start sanding and cutting and finding some more scrap plastic so I can glue in between these and get my edges right and get all this stuff to sit right, and then figure out what I'm going to do. So I did some measurements, and the building itself is a scale 22 feet wide, and that's very narrow. I never realized that they selectively compressed a lot of these buildings, so nothing is really prototypical in a sense, because I seriously doubt they would have a 22-foot wide freight house that is 130 feet long, but it's going to look okay. The room that I'm standing in, which is the room where my workbench is at, and the majority of my scenery and the big bridge and where I take most of my pictures, is 26 feet wide, or 26 feet long, 12 feet wide. So this room is, 4 feet wider than the freight house itself. And it just, when you start, thinking about if this was blown up 87 times, how big would it be, and all this other stuff. And it's just, I think modern kits are a lot more accurate with their dimensions. And you can see that with some of the older kits when you put them next to a Walther's Cornerstone or something like that. They just kind of don't look quite right, but that's okay. So like I said, it's 22 feet wide. It is 28 feet high at this peak. That's not the new peak, that's the current peak. And it's going to be 130 feet long. So it's going to be pretty good size, and it's going to be, I think it proportionately, it looks good. And a matter of fact, I had an architect make a comment on, I think it was on like the community side. I posted some photos of the mock-up where I had it taped together just sitting there. And he said that, architecturally speaking, it looks better with the double set of admin area versus just one with a longer working section like warehouse. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. The concrete itself is, I just threw some rough dimensions on there of how I wanted it to be, but I'm cutting it. It's gonna be 5 inches wide and 20 inches long, and that will give a huge footprint to this model, and it will allow me to pick it up and move it around, and I don't have to worry about it getting broke. I think it's going to be, once again, I'm really excited for this build because it's something different. I have never kit bashed a building to this extent before, and I'm really looking forward to this. Lastly, I've got some double hung windows here that are 40 foot by 90. And that's 90 inches tall. So I mean, that's pretty tall, and they're not going to work for anything that I do here unless I turn them sideways. And I'm not sure that will look right, but it may and it may not. I'd have to do a lot of work, so I'm going to go ahead and shop for some new windows that will look better in proportion to this kit. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this off now. It's probably 21, 22 minutes. I hope this isn't too boring. There's not a lot that I can really show you yet because, it's only the beginning. But once again, you can never plan anything enough. You can never think about something enough. And if you ever get, I guess, wore out or bored with working on something, or you get overwhelmed, take a break. That's all you got to do is take a break. So, if you like this video, hit that like button. You're more than welcome to hit that bell and get notified. But right now I'm posting on Sundays, Wednesdays, and possibly Fridays in the future. I haven't quite decided on when this video is going to air. I'm looking at the analytics from the last one, the last episode of this that I uploaded on Friday night to see how it does over the weekend. So this may be a Wednesday night video after I finish the Virginian and Ohio F7s. I'm not quite sure, but you hit that notification just so that you don't miss out. Also, go check out the playlist. I got a bunch of layout videos, layout update videos are in the layout update section. I got real trains in the real train section. I got the F7 build videos are all together in the F7 build section. And of course, this is its own playlist that I'll be changing the name of, but it's still the Freight House Kit Bash Freight House section of the playlist. So like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell. Come back here in a couple days and see what I do next. Thank you for watching.